Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to So Talk with Sue. I am your hostess, Sue O'Very, and I am welcoming you to episode number 2. And we are just gonna dive right in. I'm hoping that everyone gets a chance to join in and that all the technology works beautifully this week. But this idea of the So Talk with Sue has been well received. I had a lot of really great comments, and so many of you wrote me beautiful emails and messages last week that just really touched my heart. So I am going to continue on with this. But just like last week, there are 3 topics that we are going to discuss. The very first thing is a sneak peek. I'm going to show you what I've been working on, what I have being test zone right now, and I'm also going to kind of along with that show you what's hot right now on my website. And then the second thing is going to be a tip. I'm going to share and this week I'm going to teach you an old tip that I used back when I was making costumes at Busch Gardens like 20 something years ago. So I'm going to share with you a really cool hand sewing tip and trick. And then the very last thing is I'm really excited about. I have got one really cool notion, but there's like something that kind of goes along with it, but there's 2 notions I'm going to show you today. And the designer of this notion is also doing an amazing giveaway, which I'm not going to share with you until after I even show the notion. But so stay tuned, kind of stay with me and watch all the cool things that are going on. Do remember that I love thumbs up, I love little hearts, leave comments. In fact, in order for you to be considered for winning one of the prizes that the Notion designer is giving away today, you must leave comments. So if you are following me live right now, this is your opportunity. Say, hey Sue, tell me where you're coming from. Just leave lots of comments. That's the way I get to see your name pop up over and over and over again. And the cool thing is we are watching this live behind the scenes. I'm watching it on YouTube and Facebook. So one of those, we're gonna kind of mix that up. And anyways, we're gonna have, I believe it's 3 winners today. So I'm really excited about that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first thing I'm going to share with you today is the current In the Hoop project that is for sale. It's on sale actually at my website, and they are the little hexagon key fobs. They come in 2 different styles. There is the eyelet style, and this made with, you can make this with any non-woven material like vinyl or cork or felt. I mean, anything that's not woven, meaning that there's no satin stitching around the edges. So if you used regular cotton and you don't fray check it or something, then the edges would just fray. But honestly, somebody had messaged me that they were going to use denim and fray the edges on purpose. So that would be kind of cool. And then the other version is the snap tab one, and that is just this little guy snaps around a 1/2 inch, or I can't remember, I think this is 3/4 inch little swivel clip. So yeah, that is the current one that's on sale. These will be on sale until Friday. But here is a sneak peek of what's coming. Are you ready? And I'm going to zoom out a little. To keep with the hexagon theme, this is the new Hexi Poofy zipper bag. And if you recall, I had done a poofy zipper bag, and it's actually free. You can go download and watch the video of how to make the original. I'll post a picture right here. And that's the original poofy vinyl bag, all done in the hoop. And since then, I've come out with several different styles. And in fact, I have like 4 or 5 of them right now in the queue, waiting to be finished digitizing, test stitching, and ready to go. So anyhow, this is the newest. It's going to be released on Friday. It's the hexagon shaped poofy zipper bag. You can make this with vinyl, you can make it with cork. Again, it is with a non-woven material. This is not a lined bag, which makes it really fast and easy to finish. And all kinds of stuff will fit in here. This is the 5x7 size. So just to kind of give you a proportion or like an idea of how big it is here. Here's like my favorite pair of Femore scissors. It's the 719. I'm just gonna show you how how these would fit in here, just to kind of give you an idea. And like I said, this is the 5x7 size. And then this one is the 6x10 size. So it comes in 5 different sizes, 4x4 all the way up to 9x12. I've got my test stitchers working on this right now. I'm just really kind of psyched about this. This is also going to be for an event I'm doing in a couple of months, and the whole theme of, like, most of the projects are very hexagon theme. So kind of having said that, stay tuned. There are a couple more hexagon projects coming up in the queue. And yeah, so there you go. This is the next upcoming project, and it's going to be available this Friday. So if you are not already, be sure to subscribe to my newsletter, because that's where you will get the discount when it comes out. So what do you guys think of the hexagon poofy vinyl zipper bag? I'm really excited about them. Okay, so next up is our tip of the week. All right, so here we go. Let me gather my little materials. This tip I'm going to share with you is something that I have shared on a few videos over the years, but I am really this is one of those things that I talk about when I teach a lot too, and it's a hand sewing tip. So let me tell the story while I'm doing this. I'm going to go ahead and pull off a nice long piece of thread. I am using the Aurifil 50 weight cotton thread right here. But I used to, when I worked at Busch Gardens doing costumes many years ago, we sewed on a ton of snaps. In fact, this wasn't even the size of the snaps. If you've ever seen these snaps, this is the snaps that we were sewing on all the time. We had to make things really easy for people to take on and off, you know, quick changes and stuff. So the bigger the better. It was easier for the performers to find. So I sewed hundreds and hundreds of these little snaps on. Having said that, I'm going to demonstrate with a smaller snap just so that it's a little less time consuming. But really the tip that I'm going to share with you today is about forethreading. So what that is instead of taking a single thread and going through the eye of your needle, instead of doing that, and let's say we were sewing this thread, this snap onto a piece of fabric, I would do 4 threads. So when it goes through the fabric, there's 4 threads in there. So in order to do that, I am folding my thread in half. So I have a loop right there. And now there's 2 strands. Can you see the 2 strands? I take the 2 strands, and because I have this loop, it makes threading so much easier. So going through the eye of the needle is much easier. And I gotta tell you, I am getting older. It is harder for me to see things. I'm not gonna lie. It's not as easy as it used to be. But because that loop is what I'm threading and not a single thread, I'm able to thread it a lot faster. So now through the needle, we have 2 threads. And then once we connect the ends, which is what we're gonna do, I have a total of 4 threads. So I'm gonna tie a knot at the bottom with all 4 thread tails. So again, I took the loop and I went through the eye of the needle, and now I have a total of 4 threads, and I have my little thread tail, which I am going to clip the threads. Let me get my threads out of there. And then I'm just gonna make a little, let's see if you can see it. I'm gonna make just a knot. That's all I've got. So a knot and my 4 threads. Now the reason that I'm kind of making a big deal about this is because when you're sewing, hand sewing, or putting a snap on, or really anything, if you're gonna take 2 threads, if you had just basically 2 threads going through there, you would have to stitch what I just did, just like that, twice, right? Because I have 4 threads here. So this is the trick I learned years and years ago when I was sewing hundreds and hundreds of these little snaps on, and we called it the 4 thread. Now sometimes we would do 8 threads, depending on if we were backstage maybe and we had to get a performer out really fast, we would put, make it an 8 thread. But honestly, the 4 thread is just as good. It's excellent because you can do things twice as fast as you're stitching. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you. And the second is how I finished off hand sewing. Okay, now we're ready and we're going to just tie a knot, right? But we're gonna tie 2 knots. So here we go. Here's knot number 1. In fact, I'm not gonna just tie it once. I'm gonna go around the thread's going to go around the needle twice, and then I'm going to push down, and I have my first, and it's actually a double knot. So let me just do that one more time. I'll show you. So we're going to tie a knot, but instead of going around the thread once with my needle, I'm going to go around it twice. And I'm going to push that knot at the base of the fabric. Now, immediately, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go around the needle, around the thread with my needle twice, but this time, I'm going to make it so that the knot is about 1/4 inch away from the initial knot. Can you see that? So now, what I've done is I have I finished my hand sewing, I've tied off the knot, but then I have created the second knot, and now I'm ready to go and stitch my next whatever it is. So every time I have finished with my hand sewing, I've already got my knot ready to go. So there you go. There is your little sewing tip. So 4 threads, and when you're finished, do a double knot, and then before you cut your thread, do one more knot about 1/4 inch away and clip those threads. And you've finished your hand sewing, and you've also got your next hand sewing thread and needle ready to go. So what did you think of that? Okay, and now are you all ready for the notion of the week? Okay, well first I'm going to go ahead and lay this pressing mat down, and I'm going to grab my steam iron, because the cool thing that I'm showing you this week is none other than the Tailor's clap from Angela Wolf. So it's a really cool story. Angela Wolf has basically reinvented the Tailor's clap. There was one that she used for many, many years, and then it was no longer manufactured. So she decided that she was going to go ahead and create her own. And she was able to find the place that she could get these manufactured locally in Michigan, which is where she lives. And she went to them and said, I want to make a clapper. And they said, oh, you mean like, you know, clap on, clap off? And and she's like, no, it's something for sewing. And ultimately they decided on the best wood for them, which was hard maple, which is more expensive than a traditional clapper. So if you've got an old one that's laying around, this is going to be a harder wood, more expensive, but it's going to be durable and last the test of time. So it's about, actually here, I can go ahead and measure it. This one is 9 inches by, the widest is like 2.5, and you'll notice so it's 9 inches long, 2.5 wide, and about 2 inches down here. And then the thickness is a good 1.5 inches. And you'll notice that there's grooves right here and here so that you can hold it in place like this with your fingers and your thumb. And what's really cool though is she has it in 2 different sizes. And this one has the same kind of look to it. It's exactly the same size up here and exactly the same size down here, but then it's just kind of short. So, you know, like this is tall and this is short, kind of like me. But yeah, I really like the short one, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So what is a clapper for? Well, you must use steam with it. It is a combination of using the steam and the hardwood to flatten out seams perfectly. So we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to demonstrate with just some regular cotton fabric. This is actually part of the Tulip Pink line, and it's a beautiful, like, I don't know, like seafoam green kind of color. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm just pressing it to get it flat, but let's just say we are doing a hem. So going to use the steam, and I can steam it, but then the idea is to come back with the clapper and hold it flat, and then we'll move it over and hold it flat again. And instead of just like the iron will make it, you know, like make it flat and it'll smooth it out, of course, this gives it this amazing, perfect, crisp line. And I gotta tell you, at first I wasn't really a believer, so I did it myself, and yeah, definitely it makes a difference. Like, I couldn't believe it. And this is gonna be really great, especially if you're doing like double hems. So you've already got your line there, and so we steam, and then we come back with the clapper and immediately put some pressure on it, slide it over, and there you go. And let me just kind of open this up to show you. Look how crisp these lines are. So if you are a garment maker or you're making purses, this is going to be kind of just an amazing notion that you can have handy to use. Now I think it's kind of cool if you do have the two of them and you were doing like a really long seam like pant legs, you could just pretty much like do the two of them like this and just kind of go through and press your pant seams out. Okay, now I use lots of different kinds of materials, so I thought it'd be fun to experiment. Now this is that mesh by Annie, and okay, I've pressed it out. This can be kind of tricky material to press. I never feel like I'm getting it really pressed because, you know, it's just boings right back. So let me give it a good press. And like, just to give you an idea, you can kind of see the seam there, but it doesn't always stay where it's supposed to. So let me try it again. And now let me use the clapper on it. I'm really curious to see if this is going to give it a nice crisp line. I have a couple of projects that use this mesh, and I really love using it. Hopefully this will help it even more. Oh wow, I can feel the crispness to it. Hopefully you can see that. Can you see that line? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That is amazing. So yeah, like obviously it's not going to work on just one kind of material. All right, let's see, what else do I have? I love batiks too. I use a lot of batiks. In fact, one of my favorite things about batiks is that they press so nicely. But good and bad, you know. If you got a lot of wrinkles, it takes a while to get them out. You know, I'm curious, would that help get rid of the wrinkles? Yeah, not so much. Okay, so let's just test it out here. And we're going to press our seam and then come right back and press with the clapper. So there you go. Yeah, you can really, let me zoom in there. You can really see that crispness of the seam. All right, now of course if you're pressing a seam open, if you've got a seam sewn and then press it open, that would be an ideal thing as well for the pressing. And let me do this other material. This is from Shannon Fabrics. This is that gauze material. Now I'm not changing my settings. I just don't want to press it as hard, like have too much pressure on it. But I do want to just try like let's say we were doing a hem. I'm going to use the smaller one this time. Oh, look at the steam. It steamed up my camera. All right, and let's see how this is. Yeah, look at that, guys. What do you think of that? Oh my gosh. Okay, one more material I wanted to try. Now this is definitely polyester, and so I don't have the lower settings. I don't want to melt my material. I'm just going to press it really quick. Try not to leave that hot iron on it. Again, this is one of those materials that likes to shift and move and stuff when you're pressing it. I'm just gonna fold some and we're gonna press it. Okay, and then let's put that clapper on it right away. Zoom out a little so you can see. So what do you all think of this? Do you think you could use this in your sewing? This is definitely going to be for garment makers, for bag makers. I'm also going to show you something with in the hoop because I was like, man, how could I use this in the hoop? All right, I did press that one a little bit longer because the material is just, oh wow, look at this. Like it's standing up by itself. It's crazy press. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm totally digging these. This is great. Okay, the last thing I wanted to show, oh no, wait, one more. Cork. This is a total experiment. I haven't experimented. I haven't like tested this, so let's see what this does. And this cork, I get all my cork from Sally Tomato. So I'll have links for all these different places in the description where you can get all these materials I'm showing today. All right, so cork, I'm curious, like, is this going to help it at all? Especially bag makers, you're using this. Okay, I'm gonna use the short one, the mini. It's called the mini clapper. Again, if you're just joining us, we are showcasing the Tailors clapper and the mini clapper by Angela Wolf. You can find her everywhere, just looking Angela Wolf. All right, let's see. Definitely an improvement. Look, you can kind of see it standing up by itself. Let's see, can you see that? Can you see that? Look at that, that's amazing. That's awesome. Okay, that's definitely better than just pressing it. I think I could probably lay that on there a little bit longer. I think that might work even better. Okay, so there you go. And then the last, now this really is the last thing. I was curious how it would work within the hoop projects. So most of what I do is in the hoop, and I do a lot of like installing zippers and creating seams. And then when you're finished, you know, there's different methods. You know, like we finger press, right? Once we got to pull the seam over. Let's say I got to do the same thing over here. But what I thought is, okay, I'm going to steam this side. I'm not touching the hoop though, friends. I'm just steaming it like a few inches above. Okay, now I'm going to fold this over. And just so you can see, I'm just kind of like pulling this material so it lays nice and flat on the wrong side of the hoop. And now on the right side of the hoop, I'm going to do the same thing. Okay. And let's get the clapper on there. I'm using the mini one because I feel like it, look at this. I could even fit this into my hoop like horizontally. Oh, I can tell already it's making a huge difference. Yeah, this is cool. Look at my seam is like perfectly laid flat. That is, look at this one too. And I didn't even press this side. Like remember, I just kind of steamed this side and then I flipped it over. So yeah, really, really nice. I'm gonna steam it one more time. And then I'm gonna use the bigger clapper. So this is like my oval hoop for my Bernina 790 Plus. This is kind of like the 5x7 for a lot of you. If you have other brands, this is like a 5x7 hoop. So look how nicely this fits into that hoop. And there you go. So multiple uses for the clapper. And again, there are 2 different sizes. This is the original Tailor's clapper, and then there is the mini clapper. And I gotta be honest, when I first saw this one, I was like, what do I need this for? But of course, that didn't last too long because I quickly saw where there was definite value in having both sides. And look at this, Angela Wolf, she signed mine. How cool is that? All right, friends, so what do you think of this? I wanna hear in the comments, where do you think you're gonna use these? And let's go ahead and let's go back to my face. All right, so what did you think? I really enjoyed showing you the things I had to share today. Let's just recap really quick. I showed you what is currently hot, and that's the little hexagon key fobs. And then I showed you a sneak peek that is coming up this Friday. So definitely make sure you're on the mailing list so that you can get the introductory price discount. I showed you that really cool trick on hand sewing using 4 threads instead of 2, and then doing the double knot and then doing 2 of those and clipping them in the center. This will save you so much time, and you always have a threaded needle with a knot at the end of it. Just makes it really easy and wonderful. You will definitely thank me the first time you do it. You'll be like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Why didn't I know this? And then the last thing, and definitely not the least, was showing you Angela Wolf's clapper, her Tailor's clapper, and then the mini clapper. Seriously, I'm totally impressed. Like, I didn't press any of this stuff before this video. I wanted to kind of do it organically and, you know, I don't know, kind of hear my own reactions to it as well. In this world, so much stuff is staged. Sometimes it's nice to just hear what the real reaction is. Like, I am genuinely excited about using this. In fact, I am going to have to message Angela when we're done with this and let her know how cool it really is. I'm pretty psyched about using it in my embroidery, like my in the hoop projects, but also just like hems and pressing pants. And not everybody loves these things, you know, like, but I actually am kind of like a pressing nerd. Like, I really do like pressing. It's, you know, and ironing. I kind of like doing it. So anyways, the other thing is that Angela Wolf is offering a limited time exclusive discount for all of you watching, for all my audience, my fans, and it is going to be for a 10% discount. If you're watching this sometime later, you know, hit me up and say, hey, is there any new coupon codes? But this one is for a limited time. All the information will be in the description so that you can just kind of scroll through and find it at your own pace. You can go to angelawolfpatterns.com. You can also just go to angelawolf.com and you can use your coupon there. So now here's something that's really cool though, is that Angela has given me permission to give away 3 things. So 3 winners basically are going to get something. 2 of them need to be within the United States because of shipping. But don't worry, my international fans, because I know lots of you are watching from all over the world. You also have a chance to win something. So the very first thing is, I bet you can guess, is going to be, wait, hold on, I gotta reach. is going to be the Tailors clapper. And then the next winner will be the mini clapper. And then these two are for US residents only. And then the last one is really awesome. This is for everybody. And that is going to be a 3-month subscription to Angela's Fashion Sewing Club. It's super cool, and it's, you know, it's invaluable, and you're gonna get 3 months absolutely free. So the way that I choose my winners is you've gotta comment. I gotta see your name pop up. So say, pick me, or let me know why you think you should be the winner. So let me see those comments. This is both on YouTube and in Facebook. So there's lots of chances to win. And we're gonna announce those winners as soon as this is over. The winners will be announced at the very top of the description for these videos, and you'll get to see who the winners are. And the last thing I just wanted to kind of remind you is that any of the links that you see in any of my videos are what they call affiliate links. And all that means for you is that if you click on that link and you go to that place and you buy that little item, that I get a percentage of the sale. Best of all, it costs you nothing extra. There's no extra that you have to pay in order to use that link. So if you're ever, you know, if you ever use it, I am in my little way of giving you a hug and saying thank you so much for supporting my small family business. And then of course, last but not least, if you have not already, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Of course, join my weekly newsletter, follow me on Instagram, and best of all, go join the fun over at my Facebook fan club. You can find me everywhere at Suaberry Designs. And my friends, until I see you next week, or if you're watching another video, until I see you next time, I hope you have a creative day. Bye-bye.